Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Carryandcut YouTube channel. And if you're new here, I really do appreciate you stopping by and watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Also leave a comment down below. It really does help out the channel, and it means the world to me. So we're going to be checking out another one of Steven, the Landry Man's pocket knives. Him and this little man Dom actually sent this knife over for me to take a look at. So I've been looking at a whole bunch of Kunwu knives. I've actually this is my first time checking out really any Kunwu knives is when they sent this big old box of knives over. So I've really been enjoying them. They are pretty wild designs, and I really do appreciate the level of fit and finish and the value of what they bring to the table. I know that, of course, all the Kunwu models, they are going to be made overseas, but they are made exceptionally well. And for the price, for the quality that you're getting, I feel like there really is a lot of value there. So keep that with an open mind. I know some people really are big fans of the Made in USA stuff right now, and so am I as well. But these are definitely really awesome pocket knives. So let's go ahead and check this one out. This is the Kunwu Knives Primo. This is of course a titanium frame locking knife. This one is a really the first thing that really caught me is obviously the blade, but this handle scale finish here is pretty wild. This raindrop kind of, I don't know, it is a wild feeling thing. Almost reminds you almost like an eggshell. It's pretty crazy. Just go ahead and get a look at that right there. This is of course the full blacked out version right here. And I'm gonna tell you this, guys, right now, I was actually not able to find any of these in stock, so this is kind of a, I don't want to say a rare bird, but it's definitely one that I feel like a lot of people really liked, and you cannot actually attain any of these right now, at least with this pattern right here. You might be able to find some of the smooth ones, and I'm not sure if this is actually DLC on the handle. I guess I really didn't look that far into the specs on this one, but it is still really nice, fully blacked out. They have a Time Mascus clip on there, and just a mean looking, Warncliffe blade shape on that. That is a really, big blade, that's for sure. This thing, the closed profile of this thing is very wide in the pocket, so this is definitely not going to be a discreet carry or something that doesn't take up much room in the pocket. But overall, really nice. And of course, the lefty, this is definitely one of Steven's knives, that's for sure. You can tell when I'm doing some of his pocket knife reviews because he's got the lefty versions of everything. And I'm actually, I've carried this a couple times, and I've actually been able to get the reverse flick down and the thumb hole opening right there. You got to watch out with this big old blade. You go to close that thing, it can almost come down and get you, bite you a little bit. So that's definitely something to be aware of with this massive blade. But I really do like that generous forward finger choil they give you right there. But why don't we go ahead and do some overall specs of this knife right here. So we got 7.75 inches overall length. We have 3.42 inches of blade, 2.95 inches of actual cutting edge. The blade is about 1.5, a little more, 1.55 inches tall. We got 125 thousandths in the blade stock thickness. And while we're talking about the blade, this is actually Van Kron steel. So I don't know if you guys can see that right there. That is a steel that I've actually never heard of. Did a little bit of research on it, and of course it makes me think of Van X, but all I could figure out was it's a knife that can get to incredible hardnesses. So I know Kunwu, they like to do a lot of exotic blade materials, and so it's pretty exciting stuff. All I know is that their website says 63 to 65 on the Rockwell hardness scale, which is incredibly hard. I've seen that it can even get up to numbers in the 68. So that is incredible. So this knife's going to be able to hold an edge for a long time, especially this satin DLC coating on here. You're never going to have to worry about any sort of corrosion or something like that. And that is one coin of Steven's. He really does love all the coated blades, and he's a sucker for the Warncliffe blade shape. So this is definitely right up his alley. I do like the satin DLC, even though it is kind of a fingerprint magnet. So if you guys are not liking the fingerprints on your knife or your blades, this might not be the one for you, but still super nice. It really does have a really nice shine on it, and definitely pretty cool. Kind of hard to catch in the camera there, almost blends in very well with the background. So like I said, satin DLC, this knife is 5.29 ounces. That is the weight of it, and it does have a reversible pocket clip. That's one thing that does kind of, I find interesting with these pocket clips right here, at least these knives in general. Of course, they do make lefty and righty versions of this, so I feel like the, being able to swap that pocket clip over is kind of almost redundant, but I guess if this is all you could find and you wanted to get the lefty model and carry it right-handed, or, some people just like to carry them on whatever sides of their pocket, so I guess I can't really complain too much about that. But I feel like the action of this thing, I feel like it might need some work. We're definitely going to take this thing apart for Steven and, you know, clean it out for him. It almost feels a little bit gritty in the pivot, and I don't think that's anything to do with Kunwu's manufacturing or anything like that. I think he just maybe did some yard work with this thing or something and got a little bit of grime in the pivot there. So we're going to do a disassembly video on this thing too coming up, so make sure you guys stay tuned for that and check that out. But with this big old massive blade, there's no reason why this thing shouldn't just be absolutely drop shut. So let's go ahead and do some size comparisons and some overall thoughts here. So like I said, this was the Kunwu Primo. How about let's do some Benchmades up against the Benchmade 940. That's going to be the classic one right there. How about the Benchmade Bug Out? So we're actually, the size of this knife really isn't that big. It's still a full-size knife with a massive blade on it, but it's still, you know, somewhat relatively, you know, easy to carry. Let's go ahead and do that closed profile up against this Bug Out in the 940. So that is just a massive chunk of metal in your pocket right there. Pretty crazy to see how wide that actual blade is. You could definitely fit almost 2 Bug Outs on the width of that thing. Pretty wild stuff. I'll get them out of the way. How about a couple of Spydercos? There's a PM2. And then how about the Pair 3? So we're definitely smaller than the Pair 2 or PM2 and a little bit bigger than the Pair 3 there. The cutting edge is actually just about similar on the Pair 3 as it is on the Primo there. And then why don't we do, let's check out up against the XM18. This is the Harpoon Spanto. And then we'll throw the Hinder Eclipse in there as well. So pretty cool. Definitely right there in that, you know, big knife territory. You can definitely feel like you could do a lot of work, and especially with that Wharncliffe blade shape there, that is going to be a awesome, you know, just utility knife and user, and something that you could really, I don't want to say beat upon, but I don't know, I guess, how tough this actual steel is, but you could definitely put some work into it, that's for sure. And I did want to check out this, you know, we do have flat grinds right here on this, especially with how tall this blade is. I feel like this behind the edge thickness is going to be next to nothing. $155,000. You might even be able to get less than that. It is whisper thin, and this thing definitely be able to slice paper like nobody's business. Let's go ahead and give it a test here. There might be a little bit of a hang up there, but still, it is just slicing through paper like nobody's business. So this is definitely going to be a really good, just an overall utility knife, something that you can throw in the pocket. But you got to beware of that massive presence that it's going to be. And you got to keep your finger off the, not very good at the front flippers though with the left-handed. But with that wide blade, it might just, you know, deter some people, but still really nice. The overall look of this thing is just pretty crazy. So I should have got some of the other Kunwus out to show you guys for a little bit of comparison there, but they are definitely a wild bunch. I've been really enjoying them. I really do like that generous forward finger choil in the hand. You know, I have a, even if I'm choked back, I can still fit all 4 fingers in it. I wear a large size glove, so this thing is definitely be good for a lot of people. Really do like the aggressive gem thing. It'll give you a nice big long line right there. Forward finger choil. We do have, of course, the front flipper, and then the blade cutout for opening methods. These are only 2 main opening methods. Can't beat it whatsoever. Really do like this clip, and I'm pretty sure, you know, they send you the actual wire clips or these 3D milled clips. And really nice. They offer a lot of good retention, and really do like the, now that I'm noticing it, there is definitely no lanyard attachment there. That's going to be a turn off for the lanyard man himself. All right, but if you guys have any, you know, comments, concerns, questions, make sure you leave them down in the comment section below. Oh, before I forgot to tell you, this is actually right around $330, but you are getting a lot of value for that $300 some for this knife. So, I get it. Ooh, perfect. All right, so I really do appreciate you guys watching. Come back for another one. See you on the next one.